Hey, hi everyone. We have a problem called picking numbers in HackerRank, and we are trying to solve it. I have used C++ for it, and I'll just explain the problem and then my approach with which I've solved it. So, given an array of integers, find the longest subarray. So, one thing to note here is generally subarrays have a rule of contiguousness, but here that's not mentioned. So some of the problem solutions would also be available to you in a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of places after sorting, but I have not used that approach here. Okay, so let's move forward. So find the longest subarray where the absolute difference between any two elements is less than or equal to 1. Okay, so for example, they have explained that this if this is a whole array, so what it basically means is we need to find the maximum length subarray from this array. So subarray is basically a smaller part of this array or subset, you can say. So we need to find the subarray which is the largest sum array with fulfilling condition of the elements in the subarray having a difference of either 1 or less than 1, that is 0. So that is the condition with which we need to create the or the we need to find the subarrays. And this is what they have explained it, that there are two subarrays meeting the criteria: 1122 and 44555. So the maximum length subarray has 5 elements, and that's what they've tried to show you. So our ultimate approach would be to adopt a frequency array, and with that we'll be solving the problem. Apart from that, there is a brute force approach as well to solve this problem, but that's in the comments if you want to take a look. But I won't be explaining that, since that is not the very appropriate approach towards it. Yeah, of course, that's helpful if you are given this problem by chance in an interview, then you would rather like to go for the brute force approach first and then jump on to the optimized approach, which is the frequency array approach. So okay, so let's see the constraints here. So our size of the array is given here. So n and a of I both are 100 here, so it's less than or equal to 100 here. So we have taken, because of that, 101 and 100 here for our sizes of the arrays. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to create a frequency array. So what is a frequency array? I have explained that in one of my earlier videos as well, but I'll repeat this again. A frequency array would be an array which is storing all the element repetitions or counts in it. So if A is the parent array, then the number of times 1 is repeating here would be stored in the frequency array on index 1. Number of time 2 is repeating here would be stored in the frequency array on index 2. Number of times 4 is repeating here in the parent array would be stored in the frequency array on index 4. I hope that's clear now. So that's what a frequency array is. For that, we are creating a frequency array, or to be precise, a vector here, and then we are traversing through the vector and creating our counts or initializing the counts for all those indexes. So this part might be a bit confusing. So imagine for now that there is nothing inside this. All right. What we want to do basically, we want to reach to the frequency array, or imagine a finger pointing towards the frequency array, different locations of the frequency array. So you want to reach to that particular index of frequency array and increase the value or increase the count that particular index has. So I told, like, since our count or our values in the parent array is corresponding to our indexes of the frequency array, we are reaching to particular index of the frequency array, which is the value of our parent array, and increasing the count. So for example, if our parent array has 1, we are reaching to the frequency array index 1 and increasing the count there. So initially, if you see here, we are initializing the frequency array with 0, all the locations. That means it will be increased to 1. So index 1 will have 1 for the first count, then 2, and then it will keep on increasing if there are more repetitions. Similarly for 2, initially it will have 1, and it will go here and it will increase the count to 2. And similarly for all the elements, it will keep on adding or increasing the count. So this is sorted. Now next jump on to what we exactly want to do and which is the key part of this problem solution. So we are creating one another loop to traverse and check through the frequency array. Now our problem statements says to return the maximum length subarray which is fulfilling the criteria that the difference between the absolute difference between any two elements is less than or equal to 1. This is our criteria which we need to fulfill, right? So we are traversing through the frequency array and trying to fulfill this criteria and check whether what is the maximum length of subarray that we can get. So we are using a function max here. Max is doing what? Max basically would return the maximum value between two values, right? So our first value is max length, which we have defined here actually already, and initialized it as well. So we are updating max length also every time after returning between this max. So every time we want to update it as well, right? Because let's say that okay, so when we are traversing from I till 100, we would be increasing the repetitions of the pairs. Sorry, we would be increasing the max of these pairs. So that's what we're trying to basically update here. We every time would increase the update the max length so that we get to have the maximum length after the traversing. So the first element here is max length, and the second element is the sum between frequency of I plus frequency of I plus 1. So that basically means, let's say this is frequency of I, then frequency of sorry, if this is the frequency array, then the first element would be frequency of I and the second element would be frequency of I plus 1. So we are adding these two and checking that whether this uh, the the total difference between the max length and the addition or sum between these two, whichever is higher, we are storing that again is in max length. I hope that's making sense. Sorry, I messed up a bit, but okay. So we have two values, max length and the addition or sum of frequency arrays two adjacent elements, which will keep on increasing with the counter or the count of I every time. Since it is one right now, then it will go to 2, 3, 4, and it will keep on repeating. Why we are taking one here is because our frequency array, our parent array doesn't have any zero elements, right? So we do not need to store any zeroth elements. So we are just simply starting with one and then looping less than 100 because we want to stop at 100. So basically, this is what it will return. Our max length, it will get updated, and in the end, we are returning the max length. So every pair initially, it will keep on, this for loop will keep on updating it in this way. So first 1 2, then 2 3, then 3 4, then 4 5. So it will keep on counting like that and keep on updating till we are done. And that is our basic approach here to solve this. I hope the explanation makes sense and it was understandable. Let me know if you have any doubts, comments, feedbacks, or any other approach that you know to solve this problem. Would love to discuss more. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye bye.